espionage, betrayal, a comedy of errors, and a declaration of war. Just when we thought the Cardi B universe couldn't possibly get any more chaotic with the pregnancy bombshells and the Lord Giselle saga, she decided to answer the question posed by her own album title. Am I the drama? Oh honey, it turns out that was less of a question and more of a mission statement for the entire year, because her brand new album, 7 long years in the making, has landed like a meteor, and the impact crater seems to be centered directly on the foundation of Nicki Minaj's kingdom. We are talking about lyrical missiles launched under the cover of a feature, a fan-led sabotage mission that turned into the funniest cell phone of the year, and a clapback from the queen that was allegedly backed up with very, very sharp objects. This is not just an album rollout, this is a power play, and we are going to dissect every single move. Okay, so to truly grasp the absolute pandemonium of the last few days, we have to start with the first shot fired. And what is brilliant about this is that it wasn't even on her own project. This was a strategic, covert operation. Cardi B pops up on a feature for Young Thug's new album, a track called On the News. And nestled inside her verse, she plants a lyrical landmine. She starts rapping about a certain woman out there, a public figure, who is allegedly getting roughed up and beaten on by her man. Now, look, in the art of war, there is a concept called plausible deniability, and Cardi is a master of it. She didn't say a name, she didn't give a social security number, but the Barbz, who operate with the speed and forensic efficiency of a government intelligence agency, immediately sounded all the alarms. Why? Because that specific narrative aligns perfectly with the quiet, but persistent, whispers that have been circulating for months about a storm brewing in the house of Petty. We all remember the unconfirmed, but incredibly detailed reports from blogs like Gossip of the City. They painted a picture of a major blowout at Nicki and Kenneth's multi-million-dollar estate. We're talking claims of police being called, and the alleged cinematic sight of his designer clothes making an unscheduled flight out of an upstairs window. So when Cardi B, Nicki Minaj's sworn nemesis, decides to amplify that exact narrative on a major platform right before her own album drops, it feels less like a random coincidence and more like a carefully aimed, surgically precise strike. And this, my beautiful, messy friends, is where the story pivots from a tense hip-hop Cold War into a full-blown slapstick comedy. The Barbz, fueled by a level of righteous fury and loyalty that should be studied by scientists, decided to launch a counter-offensive. Their mission was clear. They would prevent Am I the Drama from achieving that coveted #1 debut on the Billboard charts. The plan was brilliant in its simplicity. They would coordinate a global mass buying and streaming campaign for Young Thug's album, which was scheduled to drop on the same day, thereby catapulting him to the top of the charts and leaving Cardi in the dust. But here is the plot twist that not even a Hollywood screenwriter could have cooked up in their haste to sabotage Cardi. They failed to do the one thing you should always do: read the track list. They failed to realize that the person they were trying to dethrone was a guest star on the very album they were pumping their money and streams into. They were funding the enemy's war chest. It was the musical equivalent of trying to sink a pirate ship while you are still on board, happily swabbing the deck. To add a final hilarious insult to injury, Young Thug, in a gesture of industry solidarity, delayed his own album, publicly stating that he wanted Cardi to have her time in the sun. The entire elaborate scheme imploded in the most spectacular fashion imaginable. But the drama doesn't stop with sales figures. The queen herself allegedly logged on to respond to the lyrical jabs being thrown her way, from an account that is either Nicki Minaj or a stan who has successfully downloaded her consciousness into their brain. A direct challenge was issued, she supposedly demanding to know point blank if she was the target of the verse. No subliminals, no guessing games, the directness is just breathtaking. She then reportedly unleashed a monologue saying, "Don't you dare try to gaslight me. If you are coming for me, say it with your entire chest." And then she addressed the abuse allegations with a story that deserves its own chapter in the Hall of Fame of clapbacks, she said. And I quote, "My husband definitely just don't be whooping my A. We had a fight about 2 times and 1 time he got cut." Excuse me, he got cut. She didn't just deny the rumors, she grabbed the entire narrative, flipped it on its head, and established a new one. She basically told the entire world, "You think I am the victim in this house. I am the one holding the knife." Iconic, legendary, and frankly, terrifying behavior. Okay, but now we have to move past the beef and talk about the actual body of work, because the public is split right down the middle. This isn't just a friendly debate, this is a musical civil war erupting in every comment section on the internet. First, let's explore the arguments from the camp that is deeply unimpressed. Let's call them Team 5 out of 10. Their primary critique is that, lyrically, the album is running on fumes. They're calling the rhymes elementary, like Dr. Seuss with a BBL. The consensus among this group is that Cardi's undeniable charisma is writing checks that her actual bars simply cannot cash. And the 7-year wait, which was supposed to build anticipation, has now become a weapon to be used against her. I saw one critic who actually did the math over 60,000 hours. They argue that with that much time, the project should have been a lyrical masterpiece, but instead, they feel it sounds like it could have been made in 7 months. And the most potent criticism, the one that truly seems to get under the skin of hip-hop purists, is the ghostwriter issue. When you comb through the album credits, you find that some songs have 5, 10, even 11 writers credited. The argument from the critics is a powerful one. How can you title your album Am I the Drama and spend the entire project dissing people and coming for their necks when a whole committee of writers had to help you craft the insults? For many, it strips the disses of their authenticity. It feels less like a raw personal battle rap and more like a carefully focused group corporate takedown. The personal sting is just gone. But on the complete opposite side of this digital battlefield, the Bardi Gang is hailing this album as a cultural reset. They are adamant that the 7-year wait was a necessary marination period, allowing her to grow and perfect her sound. They are celebrating this as a triumphant return to form, arguing that her flow is more versatile than ever. Her beat selection is impeccable, and her confidence is pouring out of the speakers. For them, it is not about analyzing complex multi-syllabic rhyme schemes. It is about the vibe. It is about the raw energy and the feeling you get when you hear these tracks in the club or in your car. And in terms of vibes, this album is a whole mood, especially when she is on the attack. The big diss was a surgical strike. It was cold, calculated, and it left no survivors. And the shots fired at JT, absolutely ruthless. It has the entire internet playing detective trying to figure out what exactly went down between them behind the scenes to warrant such venom. Of course, some are pointing out the delicious hypocrisy of her coming for JT, possibly over men, while her own new relationship with Stefan Diggs is currently the messiest, most chaotic situation on the internet. But hey, drama is drama. But for me, the most powerful, most resonant moment on the entire album comes on the track Dead, with the phenomenal Summer Walker. She says the line, "Has got some nerve and then be nervous. Let the church say amen." That one line is a whole sermon in a sentence. It speaks to every single person who has ever had to deal with someone who talks big behind their back in the group chat online, only to see them in person and have them act like you are a complete stranger. Or even worse, try to be your best friend. It is the audacity and then the sudden, convenient amnesia. That line right there is pure, unfiltered, relatable truth. And it is the core of why people connect with her on such a deep level. So, what is my final take on this whole chaotic album rollout and the music itself? I think the truth, as it so often does, lives somewhere in the middle of these two warring factions. Is this album going to be remembered as a lyrical masterpiece that will be studied for generations like the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill number? But was it ever supposed to be? I honestly don't think so. Cardi B's unique gift is her ability to create anthems. She makes music that makes you feel powerful, confident, and ready to take on the world, or at least the dance floor. And on that front, Am I the Drama is an undeniable runaway blockbuster success. Okay, my head is spinning from all the layers, from lyrical warfare to fandom conspiracies to a full-blown civil war over the quality of an album. But now I have to pass the mic to the most important people. You guys, the jury of the internet. What do you think? Was Cardi's line on the news a direct calculated shot at Nicki Minaj? Or is it just collateral damage in a long-standing Cold War? And what is your official verdict on Am I the Drama? Where do you stand in this great debate? Are you on team sophomore slump that took 7 years to arrive? Or are you on team album of the year? It was well worth the wait. Drop your entire thesis with receipts in the comments below. Thank you for diving deep into the drama with me on Extra Hot Topic. If you enjoyed the tea, you already know the drill. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel so you are always in the loop, and hit that notification bell like it owes you money. I appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.